All right. We are live, so it says. So, the live stream build. The live stream build that continues to be built, not on the live stream. Uh, hey, I apologize. I, uh, I really had good intentions when when I started this. I had good intentions of live streaming more often. That didn't happen. Still pretty sporadic. Um, I had good intentions of only working on the truck that I said was going to be the live stream build on the live stream. That didn't work out. Um, Part of it is because I can't resist. I just have to tinker with them, and part of it is, I mean, honestly, I'm trying, I guess, to avoid embarrassment a little bit because um, some of this stuff is hard to do, and it's not. I gotta turn this light off. I forget how harsh that light is. Um, but some of it's hard to do, and some of it is frustrating, and honestly, a lot of it just wouldn't make very good content, right? Like a lot of it would not be fun to watch. Um, Links, for example, like figuring out the links and everything, it's not fun to watch. Let me grab the live stream build. So this is where we are right now, and there have been a bunch of changes since the last live stream. I mean, it was a chassis, I think, with a transmission bolted to it on the last live stream. Um, and I've learned some things. I've learned some things in this process. Um, One is, I mean, I say I've learned some things. These are things that I knew, but I've learned some things specifically about the TRX4, right? So the TRX4 really, really, really wants to be offset pumpkin in the front up here. Like it's designed like it really wants to be driver's side offset pumpkin because this driveline angle here wants to go straight from the transmission up to a spot about right here on the axle. It does not want to go to the center of the axle. Not at all. It doesn't like it. It's not a fan. So, I mean, you can see how chopped up that, right? Like that's a TRX4 skid. I chopped that completely off. It's a mess, but it works. I mean, it's not a mess in that it's a problem. The whole underside of the spur gear is exposed now, which is something. Um, that's the TRX4 is an enclosed system there between spur and pinion. Very well, like encapsulated. You can't get dirt and mud in there. It's great for trailing. This one's kind of wide open now. It's actually wide open in the worst possible place, way down low. I mean, I guess my hope is that water and mud is obviously going to get up in there, right? Because I chopped up a perfectly good system that was made to work a certain way, and I decided I wanted it to work with axles that were center pumpkin axles. So I chopped it up to make it work, which I guess is good. I guess that was, well, I don't know if it's good or not, but we did it. And so now there's going to be mud and water just whoosh, right up in there. So will that be bad? Assuredly, it will be bad. It won't be good, right? It's not good. Will it be like problematic? I think is the real question, and I'm hoping the answer is no. The good and the bad news is the holes at the bottom, right? If the hole's at the top and there was no hole at the bottom, that would probably be an even bigger problem. So it's going to sling a bunch of crap up in there, but hopefully it's got a place to come back out, right? So maybe it won't be so bad. I don't know. Remains to be seen, I suppose. So that's but that's a big change from the last time it was seen on a live stream and that is it's got a TRX4 skid now. We had that flat skid in there. I found it on eBay. I just thought it was kind of a cool idea to bring all those links up and kind of hide them, because on the TRX4, everything sticks down below the chassis rails, and that one that I had found, it pulled everything up in and was flat with the bottom of the chassis rails, which I think is good if you're going to really rock crawl with a TRX4, which TRX4 probably wouldn't be my first choice if I really wanted to build a rock crawler. I would say right now, as of today, if I really wanted to build a rock crawl now, if you really want to be competitive in rock crawling, if that's your thing, if you want to go to like the real comps and like do real serious rock crawling, I mean, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but I would probably go to Deluxe and just see what they have and build something out of their catalog. They've got crazy motor on axle stuff, and they've got all the big crazy weight hangers and the chassis. I mean, they build, championship rock crawling, like real WRCCA and that kind of stuff. They build that stuff. That's what they do. So there's probably nobody better at it. And if you've got the money and that's what you want to do, it's probably where I would go. If you just want to go around to like local comps, like I have done in the past, and you were going to start with a kit that's like from the big three, I would say maybe the big four. Well, you got Traxxas, you got Axial, you got Element, you got Vanquish. That's, pretty much the big four. I mean, you could say FMS, but they're not really making rock crawlers. They're making trail trucks, really. So if I was going to buy a kit to build a rock crawler, right? So you're going to go around to local comps and do rock crawling. I would probably get a VRD Carbon kit. Is probably what I would do. I've got a VRD Carbon, it's a Carbon now. It was a VRD straight axle kit. That's what my rock crawler is, Sky Knight. And he's a very good rock crawler. I don't think I would win any local comps or anything like that. But I think it probably wouldn't be embarrassing, right? Like he would do okay. He would do, probably mid-pack to lower third, something like that is my guess. Because I'm not a very good driver, one. And two, it really depends on the course, right? So he's a straight axle rig. If there's a lot of off camber, if there's a lot of things that, and it really does depend course to course. You guys that do a lot of competitive rock crawling, you probably already know this, but there are places where portals are totally worth it, and there are places where portals are not totally worth it, and straight axles actually do a little better. So I think it really depends on who's building the gates, like who's setting the things up. If they're running portal rigs, that's probably going to be leaned towards portals a little bit. But if they're doing straight axle rigs, it's probably going to lean towards straight axles a little bit. So it just depends. But so my VRD is a straight axle. But if I was going to build a rock crawling, competitive rock crawler 10 scale from one of the big four, again, Axial, Vanquish, Element, or Traxxas, I would probably do it on a VRD Carbon, because that comes with the portals too. So it's a good kit, and that's probably where I would start. I would not start with a TRX4. If I was going to build a trail truck, TRX4 is a great option, great choice in my opinion. And I think Element is a good choice for trail trucks as well. But yeah, the TRX4, it's really, really hard to build a TRX4 that's competitive in rock crawling. If you're going to stay with the factory chassis and all that stuff, right? Like I think they're Rock Pirates, and there's some other aftermarket stuff that you can do to them. And if you do a bunch of aftermarket stuff to them, I'm sure they get really good. But anyway, so that's where we are. This guy did not want to be Center Pumpkin, but he is now, because we made him. We bent him to our will, and there was much consternation and gnashing of teeth, but we did get it done. Another big change is the chavs. So the chavs are black now instead of being blue. The blues were 95s. These are 85s. It helps with his overall stance. He's not very super flexy, like really not. But again, this is going to be a trail truck, so he's flexy enough. And I think he'll be, kind of okay on the rocks. He's not going to be great. Well, he's not going to be great primarily because of the body, right? And I can show you that as well. So he's mid paint job, and my paint jobs are not good, but you can see he's going to have a white fender and a white hood, and then the rest of them is going to be a gray, and then his tailgate's red. So kind of like a parts truck, patching holes or replacing fenders, things like that. That's the idea. He's not going to be this silver, so he's got red primer to replicate rust. Like, so once you scratch through the paint, then you hit this silver layer to kind of look like bare metal, and then once you scratch through that, you get to the rust red primer underneath. So that's the idea. As you drive it and beat it up and scratch it, it just kind of looks like it's worn in kind of naturally. So it says the money you have to spend to get a Trax to compete to a Vanquish or Axle 10-3 doesn't really mean. Yeah, I agree 100%. Clean line crawlers. I love TRX4s. I love them. I'm building one, right? So I've only got one TRX4. That's Sport. You guys have probably seen him on the channel. One of my favorite trucks of all time. These are his original shock towers, his bumper mounts that I bought for him, his skid plate, so a bunch of these parts are actually from the original TRX4 Sport that I bought, because then I added the fenders once they came out with those, the inner fenders, and then we built him up into what he is now, right? His drive shafts, his original drive shafts, these are they. What else? The bumper is new, but I think this bumper mount is actually his as well. So anyway, he's living on a little bit. He's gonna have some progeny here, I guess, and have a second a son or a daughter, I suppose. A son. I think my trucks feel like guys for some reason. But anyway, TRX4M. So I don't have a TRX4M, and I should. I've been looking at them recently. All my 24 scale stuff is all based on Axial SCX 24 stuff. That's all I have. I've got the Yep spec, but like all the axles and all the transmissions, all the skid, everything that I've got in the small scale stuff is all based on the SCX 24. I don't know why. That's the one I picked to kind of start off with, and that's what I have been messing with ever since. But the TRX4M looks pretty cool to me. And I know they're different, right? So like you got worm gears in the SCX 24s. I think they go to more traditional gears in the TRX4Ms, I think. I don't know, but a TRX4M is definitely on my list. Definitely on my list, because I mean, having this channel stuff, I should know more about the TRX4M. I don't know anything about it because I've never had one, right? So I should know more about it. I want to get into like that 1.3 wheel diameter and the 1.3 tire. I want to test some of those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's definitely coming up soon as far as things that I'm going to get, and that's going to be a TRX4M, and I'm just gonna get one, like bone stock, and check it out, right? And I'm going to resist the urge to make immediate modifications, because I really want to see like what it is as it comes versus what you can make it into. Because I never did that with an SCX 24. I've never purchased. I've got 5 SCX 24s over there on the shelf. I bought one set of drive shafts from Axial. That's the only Axial part I've ever purchased for an SCX 24, and I've got 5 of them. So it's kind of wild that the aftermarket was that fast and is that complete, because the SCX 24 didn't come out that long ago, right? Yeah. I agree, but I'm not going to keep it stock forever. No way. It's not possible around here. I couldn't help myself keeping something stock. It's just, it's beyond my capabilities for sure. But I want to drive it around stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want to get a feel for what it is as it comes before I start making modifications. Because these SCX24s, like I said, I've got 5 of them. I couldn't tell you what a stock SCX24 drives like or feels like, or I have no idea. I've never had my hands on one. So they're all aftermarket, and they've all been highly modified since I started putting them together. So so that's what I want to do with the TRX 4M is actually like get one as a regular person would go and buy one from a hobby shop or order off AMain and drive it around just to see what that guy's experiencing, right? Versus what's possible. And I know they can be modified to be just pretty awesome because I've seen some. So I think that'll be an interesting, other thing that we can do here. So, but yeah, so the Chavtex, we shortened those again to 85 mil. The reason that I had to put the factory skid back in it is because that flat skid, while it works well, and I think if you were trying to build more of a crawler out of a TRX4, that would probably be a good choice. It dropped the motor a little bit and it moved the motor over a little bit such that this drive shaft would actually just like bottom out on the can of the motor if you went to full compression. And I mean, I could have done some things with those 95s that would have kept it from doing so, but it would have limited articulation so much that it would have kind of been ridiculous. So I just kind of on a whim, I was like, well, I wonder if I put the old or the factory skid back in it, would that give me more room where I need it? Because I didn't know. Just looking at it, kind of thought it would, but I didn't know for sure. So I tore the whole thing apart, pulled that out, put the factory back in, and that's when we started hacking on it, right? So then I had to pull it apart a bunch of times and hack a little bit more and hack a little bit more. But we finally got it. It goes full articulation. We lost a lot of our axle sway too. So I adjusted that pan hard link and I adjusted this upper link a little bit, and that seemed to get my axle sway down quite a bit, which I'm pretty happy about. We got drive shafts that work. We got, full wash. Oh, and one more thing. So we did change to an AGFRC steering servo. That's a half height. And I don't remember how many kg it is, like 35, I think. Depends on, what kind of voltage you run to it. But I think it's in the 33 to 35 range on 3S. So it's very strong and very fast. That thing is actually kick-ass. That steering servo is super kick-ass for a half height. Like I don't think I've seen a half height that's as strong and fast as that one. And I like AGFRC servos in general. I've got them on several rigs and they all work really well. But the reason I did that is because I ordered for the body not all of the, but a light kit from RC four-wheel drive that's going to give me, I'm going to try to do markers in the front, headlights obviously, and then taillights in the back. And then I don't know, there's some other lights on there, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, if anything. But it's like a generic kind of RC four-wheel drive light kit that you can do. It's got like 4 reds, 4 whites, and 4 ambers, I think. So we're going to try to get some lights on him. And that is the reason for the direct power servo, because that light kit, as a lot of light kits are, as you guys probably already know, a lot of the 3 and 5 mil LEDs that you put in these light kits will only take 6 volts. So they're 6 volt max. And this one from RC four-wheel drive is 6 volts max. So I had the internal BEC on the Hobbywing Fusion bumped up to 7.4 to get more performance out of the steering servo that was in there. And I knew as soon as I plugged in this light kit that I had just bought, if I did so, they would all pop just like that. Because I've done that before. Before I knew that they were 6 volt max and you couldn't just crank your BEC all the way up and plug them in because they burn out and quickly. So I put this BC back down to 6 volts, but because I'm running a direct power servo, we're all good. We're still getting all the power out of that servo that we can get running on 3S. All that's coming from the receiver to that servo is the signal. So the power that actually is actually turning your wheels, that's all full power still. So if you're going to do light kits, think about that. There are some light kits that don't care now. I'm going to say in the last 2 or 3 years, that's kind of a thing now. So you can get light kits that will take, full power. You can crank your BECs up and everything's fine. The Vanquish kit that I have on Phoenix, it doesn't care. I got the BEC cranked up on it and everything works fine. But they'll say, most of them will say, and all of the RC four-wheel drive ones that I could find all said 6 volts max. So that's how we got around that. We were just direct powering our servo. We'll run 6 volts out of the BEC, and that way we won't pop our lights immediately upon plugging them in. We did get, I changed this back piece here to a piece of Delrin. So it was a piece of Kydex. It was pretty thin, and because it's so long, it was pretty wobbly out here at the end. So I decided to bump it up to a piece of Delrin, just bolted it in. There's some holes on top, some mounting points that actually would be the battery tray, the front end of the battery tray on the TRX4. That's what those holes are for. And then we just got a cheapy Amazon box and threw everything in there. There's some room in there still, so I'm hoping that we can get light controller and that kind of stuff shoved in there. If we can't, we may have to come up with another battery box or a receiver box or something here. There's not much room here. We can go into the bed of the truck, I guess, or they make toolboxes and things for those Mojave bodies. So we could do a toolbox in the bed if we needed to keep things waterproof, but we'll just kind of see how that goes. But so yeah, he's doing well. He's mid paint job, so we got to tape off a fender and the hood. So that'll be the next round. We'll get those taped off, and then we're going to shoot the whole thing with a gray, kind of a dark gray. And then I think I'm going to do a couple of decals here and there, and then I'm going to go over the whole thing with a clear matte. So kind of give it that worn-in look. I may do some sanding to, cut through in places down to that silver, and then all the way down to the rust. I've got some rust paint, like brush paint. I may do some stuff on the fenders and things like that to look at like some rust. But yeah, he's gonna be kind of ugly, which is what I'm going for. It's gonna be kind of ugly, gonna look kind of like a beat up trail truck. And but the 419s fit good. That everything fits pretty well with the fenders and everything. I got the wheelbase, where I wanted it, close to where I wanted it. It's not exactly where I want it. I want this rear axle could be further forward, but with the links that I have and the rod ends that I have, this is the wheelbase. So unless it really starts to annoy me at some point, it'll probably just stay where it is. Other than that, I got a winch coming. So I got the RC four-wheel drive, like the external one, the big, the one that looks like an actual one winch that you bolt on the bumper. And I'm going to run that back with their box, so I can control it from the radio. I think I can waterproof that box on its own. I hope I can, because I definitely don't have room to put that thing anywhere. So I'm thinking when I get it, I've heard that we can go around the edges of it and all the connectors with liquid tape, and it will be waterproof. I guess we'll find out. They're not crazy expensive, so I guess if I burn one up, it'll be a relatively cheap lesson learned, and then we can come up with a better way to waterproof it the next time around. But yeah, so that is the build. You guys, I don't know if you've been watching the tire tests, but so you guys can comment here, of course. I'm going to hold up the email address. So mocrawler78@gmail.com. That's the email address for this channel. If you have ideas about tire tests, shoot them over to me. So we did these here recently. Gecko Grip Masters. They actually did pretty well. What do we got here? Little Guy Racing. These are the grippers. These are the Claw Hammer MTs. These did pretty well. Razor wires. So Upgrade RC razor wires did not do very well. These are Hobby Park, I think, like no name, kind of weird tractor tread things. They actually did pretty well. So you guys saw these Trep, or no, what are they, like Max Grapplers or something? They were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. These guys are coming up soon, I think, the Blues. They're pretty bad too. I don't know if you guys have seen the Lucky Sevens yet. The Lucky Sevens did well. But as I have said before, these tires are piling up. So I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of way of getting rid of some. And when I say getting rid of some, I mean like giving them away, right? So if you guys go through the list of tires, the ones that I've done testing on, and if there's a set, now some of them I'm keeping, right? So like the Mavericks, those things are awesome. Those are the everyday tire now for Wiley Coyote, but I got a bunch of tires here, and I don't know what the hell I'm ever going to do with them. So if you guys have a use, if you want to do some testing, especially like, other YouTubers, if you guys say, hey, I'll test the whatever, the Little Guy Racing grippers, you know what I mean? And you want to do a video on those, shoot me an email, and we can work something out. So, man, I think that's about it. We've been going for about a half an hour. We got 3 folks in here. That's awesome. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. So I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate you guys watching. This one will be posted up here in a little bit. So if anybody wants to go back and watch again, keep an eye out for these, because I'm going to try to do them more often. And we're going to keep working on this guy. We're going to eventually have like an actual truck, and then we will start doing some trailing videos with him, and we'll get to see him in action. So thank you so much for you guys that came out and joined, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.